A single server rack humming in the cold blue glow. A data stream flickers. Then, a sickening silence. The impossible dream born. Every byte, every file, every secret, free. Instant, boundless, the world celebrated for a single, fleeting heartbeat. Then the network imploded. Not a crash, an unraveling, a global digital hemorrhage. Identities dissolved into static, fortunes zeroed out of existence. The vast architecture of information, atomized, financial markets screamed to a halt, personal lives laid bare for all to see, the ultimate freedom. It became the ultimate terror. One man designed this digital apocalypse. They called him the architect. His utopian vision of a free internet morphed into the world's most devastating ransomware. He tore down the walls. He exposed us all. What twisted idealism drove him? What dark genesis spawned this digital god? This is his story. The man who gave us everything and left us with nothing. A phone screen illuminates a dark room. A notification pops up. The beginning of the end. The topic. The man who made everything on the internet free. A single question hangs in the air. Who did this? And why? We live online. We stream our lives. We download our entertainment. We consume. Every click, a transaction. Every download, a purchase. Billions of dollars. Billions of users. A digital empire built on subscriptions, on licenses, on the simple act of paying. Then it stopped. Not a glitch. Not a crash. A choice. One act. One man. He unspooled the threads. He severed the financial arteries. Suddenly, every digital gate stood open. Every paywall crumbled. Music libraries, software, suites, movie archives, news subscriptions. All free. The cost of entry, zero. A dream for some. A nightmare for global corporations. Think of the scale. Every byte of paid content unleashed. The internet redefined. A vast ocean of free information. But oceans have currents, and some currents drag you under. The world reeled. Systems buckled. Economies trembled. Who could wield such power to unilaterally rewrite the internet's fundamental law, to give everything, and in doing so, take so much more? This is the man they called a liberator, a destroyer, the man who made everything on the internet free. His legacy, absolute chaos or absolute freedom. The truth lies somewhere in the digital wreckage, and we need to find it. A lone figure, silhouetted against multiple glowing green and blue screens in a stark, cold room. The air shimmers slightly from the heat of processors, close up on eyes, reflecting lines of code. He saw the digital world as a series of fortifications. Every firewall, every encryption, a lock, and every lock, a key. His mission, not to pick them, but to dissolve the very concept of the lock, to make access universal. Extreme close-up on circuit boards, microscopic connections. Then, abstract data streams, glowing blue, flowing into a vast, complex network diagram. A red line begins to trace vulnerabilities. The method was meticulous. Years of silent observation. Decades of immersion in the digital undercurrents. He didn't just understand the internet. He felt its pulse, He knew its weaknesses, its inherent contradictions, the core belief. Information should flow unhindered, unrestricted. Hands wearing dark, thin gloves move with almost surgical precision across a custom-built mechanical keyboard. The clicks are sharp, rhythmic, on screens, deep packet inspection logs, network sniffer output, raw hexadecimal data. Phase 1. Mapping the control points, identifying the critical infrastructure, not just servers, but the protocols themselves, the digital handshake of capitalism, DRM layers, subscription algorithms, microtransaction gateways, the very mechanisms enforcing scarcity in an abundant world, animated graphics demonstrating data, obfuscation, packets fragmented, encrypted, then reassembled, indistinguishable from legitimate traffic, a digital ghost moving through a network. His tools were bespoke, not off-the-shelf exploits, but custom-written scripts, algorithms designed for quiet infiltration, for mimicry, for deception. They learned network behaviors, they blended, they became part of the background hum, slowly burrowing deeper, a global map, showing points of light flickering across continents. These points slowly shift from white to a sickly green, data lines connecting them pulse. He didn't seek a single breach. That was too crude, too detectable. His strategy was distributed. 1,000 pinpricks, synchronized to create one catastrophic hemorrhage. Botnets, carefully curated, dormant, across every time zone, across every major network, waiting for the signal. Close up on a screen showing a complex Gantt chart, timelines for various attack vectors, all converging on a single moment, a digital clock counting down in milliseconds. The build-up was a symphony of silence, each piece of malware, each custom exploit, deployed with precision, not to steal, not to corrupt, but to reconfigure, to rewrite the rules of access, to sever the link between content and cost. Images of servers, their cooling fans whirring, lights blinking with increased urgency. Then glimpses of financial dashboards, payment processors, suddenly displaying error for hundredfold or access granted in unexpected places. The target, the perception of value. He aimed to dismantle the very framework that assigned a monetary tag to digital assets, to render copyright unprovable, ownership irrelevant, to make every digital entity self-replicating, self-distributing, infinitely available, a sequence of quick cuts, a stock ticker glitching, a streaming service displaying free access for all, a software license key validation failing, then succeeding with any input, a download progress bar accelerating impossibly fast, the final command, not an attack, a release, a systemic unlocking, a cascade of reconfigurations, a tidal wave of permissions granted, everywhere, all at once. The internet unburdened, the gates obliterated, everything suddenly, irrevocably free. A final shot of the figure, still silhouetted, looking out at the glowing screens. The air in the room feels colder, more still. A single, subtle hum remains. A single line of code, a digital fracture. Then the dam broke. It started subtly, a glitch, a flicker, red warnings across monitors, then a cascade, data unleashed, No paywalls, no subscriptions, nothing everywhere. The leak became a flood, not water, but information, torrential, unstoppable. From servers in secret locations, to home desktops, to every handheld device, a virus of freedom. Spreading faster than light, corporate headquarters erupted, boardrooms plunged into panic. Faces contorted, screams echoed down sterile hallways, stock prices flatlined, then crashed. A vertical drop, billions, trillions evaporating, industries built on access, crumbling, advertising empires dissolved, content creators silenced by the very freedom they once chased. The screens screamed, red alert. Everywhere, glitching headlines, global economy collapses, data overload, the internet is free. Static overwhelmed broadcasts. Sirens wailed, distant at first, then closer. Everywhere, governments mobilized, emergency meetings, secure lines buzzed with frantic calls. What was this? A cyber attack? A new world order? Or simply chaos? Intelligence agencies, bewildered, defense systems, useless against an enemy that wasn't attacking, but liberating. The financial markets convulsed, traders, pale and sweating, their screens. A terrifying symphony of red, the value gone, not stolen, just accessible for everyone. No barrier, no price. The very concept of digital ownership obliterated, panic rippled through city streets. People stared at their phones, disbelief, then a dawning comprehension. Everything available to everyone. The fear mingled with a strange, unsettling joy. But for those in power, it was pure terror. Their control gone, their revenue zero. Servers smoked, lights flickered in server farms. The network groaned under the impossible load. Data centers became ovens. Meltdown was imminent. A digital infrastructure designed for control, now struggling to contain a boundless sea. The architect of this storm remained unseen, a ghost in the machine, watching the world unravel. Or perhaps, finally align. The system fractured, the old world burned, and from the ashes, a new, terrifying reality emerged. A world where information truly had no price, and the cost was everything. The world held its breath, or screamed, as the flood consumed all. The red glare of monitors, reflecting universal dread, the glitching signal, the heartbeat of a dying age. The world plunged, a digital avalanche, billions of files, copyrights shattered, intellectual property worthless, the global economy teetering. Panic ignited, a single, audacious act. They called him the architect, a ghost in the machine, an enemy of the state, or states. His motives, a mystery. His impact, undeniable. The response was immediate and unprecedented. A global task force, assembled in secret. FBI, MI6, Europol, Interpol, cybercrime units, elite analysts. Their mission: identify, locate, neutralize every byte analyzed, every server log, every encrypted packet. The trail was cold. The perpetrator, invisible. Frustration built. Days bled into weeks. Their hunt began in the darkest corners of the dark web. through layers of proxies, decryption algorithms whirring, tracing phantom signals. The architect was a digital phantom. His methods, sophisticated, his tracks, meticulously covered. They were chasing a whisper, a ghost in the machine. Dead ends multiplied. False flags emerged. The sheer volume of data, overwhelming. Doubts began to creep in. Was he even real? Or a collective fiction? Then a flicker, a subtle anomaly, hidden in petabytes of noise. Agent Eleanor Miller spotted it. A microsecond deviation, a routing pattern. Too precise to be random, too brief to be significant, or so it seemed, a single, momentary connection to an obscure satellite uplink deep within the former Soviet bloc. A forgotten network, a crucial, tiny mistake. The architect's only misstep. The hunt intensified, from global expanse to regional focus, then to a single, decrepit facility, an abandoned Cold War listening post, now a makeshift server farm. The signal was faint, but now consistent. Patterns emerged, irregular logins, always pre-dawn, always from a specific terminal. A routine established, a human element. Digital became physical. Special operations deployed. Under the cover of perpetual snow, a silent approach, patient, bone-chilling surveillance. Days turned into nights. They watched him, a solitary figure, methodical, unaware, his identity confirmed through facial recognition and digital forensics. The architect had a name, a real name, a face. He lived a phantom existence, but he was tangible. The extraction order, execute at dawn. Precision, paramount. No collateral damage. No escape. A brutal winter morning. The compound breached. Swift. Silent. Deadly efficient. Inside, a single room, lit by the glow of screens. A man sat at the console, mid-keystroke. He offered no resistance, no struggle, just a calm, almost resigned stare. The architect, captured. The man who rewrote the internet, brought to justice. The global threat, neutralized. The dream was beautiful, a world unbound. Information, knowledge, art, all flowing freely. No gates, no walls, just pure connection. For a fleeting moment, it was real. We tasted true liberty, a digital utopia, built by one man, a quiet revolutionary. He changed everything. And then, everything changed for him. The backlash was brutal, unprecedented. Billions lost, industries shattered, governments panicked. The old order fought back, with fury, with resources. They called him a criminal, a vandal, a thief of intellectual property. The rhetoric sharpened. The hunt began. Detectives worked in the dark, tracing phantom signals, following digital breadcrumbs. His anonymity was his shield, for a time. But even the cleverest ghost leaves a trail. A single mistake, a moment of hubris, a lapse in judgment. The net tightened. In the glow of a monitor, his face emerged from the shadows into the stark light of justice. The trial was a spectacle, a modern-day inquisition. Corporations demanded retribution. Nations sought an example. He sat, defiant, yet weary, his vision misinterpreted, his intentions twisted. The charges were many: espionage, theft, economic terrorism, the weight of the world pressed down on one man's shoulders. The verdict arrived, heavy, inevitable, guilty on all counts. The sentence was swift, unforgiving. Decades behind bars, a life extinguished. For a belief, for a dream, he vanished into the system. His name, a whisper. His legacy, debated. What remained? A scar. On the digital landscape, and in our collective memory, we remember the freedom, the brief, exhilarating taste. But we also remember the price, the man who paid it, for all of us, his sacrifice, his fall. A chilling reminder of the power he unleashed and the forces he challenged. The internet returned to its chains, stronger, more subtle, the gates rebuilt, the tolls reinstated. We were left with questions about true liberty, about true cost, and the silence. After the revolution, he saw the world's hunger, not for food, but for knowledge, for connection. A quiet conviction burned within him, a burning ideal. He believed in access for everyone. The digital divide, a canyon he sought to bridge. He imagined a different future. Open, shared, free. His generosity, was it a shield or a target? He paid a price. We all felt it. Was it naivety or profound understanding? He dreamed of a common good. His sacrifice, a ripple effect. The heavy burden, the lonely path. We remember his hope, his vision, the human heart, yearning for connection. He offered a hand. In a digital wilderness, the warmth of his dream, it still glows. The digital frontier, still untamed. He showed us the fragility of it all. A single keystroke, a global ripple, unforeseen, uncontained. We celebrated the access. We ignored the true cost, the hidden price of free. The internet's open wound, never truly healed. His legacy endures, a ghost in the machine. But the real threat, it wasn't just him. It was the precedent, the blueprint left behind. Others are watching. Learning. Waiting. The lure of ultimate control, irresistible. The next disruption is already being coded. Are we ready for the next wave? For the real price of true freedom? We cannot afford complacency. Not again. The future hangs by a digital thread, a future we must protect or lose everything. The warning is clear. The choice is ours, to build stronger, to understand the true cost. This is not the end. It's a prologue.